Hi, my name is Gabriel and welcome to Technically Software. So yeah, you're gonna build a simple Tic Tac Toe game. Well, maybe not so simple because I do want to add an online feature to it, but we'll see how that's gonna go. I'm just creating the project here, and yeah, I use WebStorm. It is a little better than Visual Studio Code. It's a little more powerful. But anyways, yeah, I just created a project using Create React app that's built into WebStorm. So as you can see right here, you can see the normal app that you get with Create React app. So once that's done, once the project is created, I'm just gonna upload it to GitHub. Once again, WebStorm has this built-in feature. As you can see, I've created a project on GitHub, and now I can freely add it to Netlify. So I go to Netlify, I log into my account, I attach to my GitHub repository, I tell it to build. It is built and is also used in the production build of React. So for trying to board, I wanted to use Bootstrap, so that's why I added React Bootstrap to my project. I started working on it. For unknown reasons, I decided that I wanted to add a navbar, so I did. I did use the background from the base app that we get with Create React app. I don't know, I just like the look of it. I like dark theme. So yeah, I spent more time than I would like to admit trying to make the board itself look somewhat decent. The core thing is using 3 rows with 3 columns in each one of them, which is very intuitive. But yeah, I tried to make it somewhat decent. For the lines, you just add borders to the columns and rows, and I think it's gonna be alright. For some reason, I wanted to use an image for the player props. I even tried to make an SVG image, as you can see here, but it didn't work out. I tried multiple things. That's why I said that I spent more time than I would like to admit. And in the end, I just went back to trying to use the O and X letters. So something that I should have done since the beginning is to use the GitHub Kanban board to sort of organize my project. So what I did is I created some issues, and I created a milestone, which will be the version of this project, and it will be 0.1.0. So I thought that I could do everything in one go, but I don't think that's gonna be the case. I think I underestimated the project a little bit. So in this version, which is 0.1.0, I just want the base app ready, like the base game, the base single player game ready. The board itself, you can click on it and X appears, and then it's the other player's turn, and you can click on it and O appears, and that's what I want ready for this version. And I also thought that I could do everything in one video, so I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm just gonna make one video per version. So as you saw, everything that I did up until now were just visual stuff. I didn't do any mechanics, so to say. I didn't do any logic yet. It was just styling. So now it is time to start working on the game itself to make it run properly. And for that, I chose to use Mobx, which I've never used before. So I wanted to try it and see how it would go. And it's pretty cool, actually. I really enjoyed working with Mobx. It took me some time to actually figure it out, reading the documentation, seeing some videos on the side. But eventually I got it working. I think I enjoy it a little more than Redux. The fact that I was using TypeScript actually made it a little easier, because Mobx is more suited, I guess, for an object-oriented environment. This is just a time-lapse because I worked on it off camera a little bit, so I will go back and explain a little more the details of the game, which there isn't much to be explained, but I will show you how I did it anyway. So yeah, for the time being, this is gonna be just a time-lapse, so enjoy, I guess. So this is how I implemented the game. I have this interface which represents the game itself and also will be implemented by a Mobx store, and also represents all the things that the component itself will have access to. So if I check the component itself, as you can see, it is pretty simple actually. Checks if the game's still going. If it is, it will say whose turn is it, and if it's not ongoing, if someone won and it's a draw, it will say exactly that. If someone won, it will say who won. If it is a draw, it will say that it was a draw. For rendering the board itself, it has access to the board. This right here is just some logic to print or not print the line itself. The same thing goes to the column. So yeah, nothing much, and inside each column it will just display the prop, which is a prop from player props, and when someone clicks on the cell itself, it will call this method right here saying, hey, make a move at this position right here. And once the game is over, it will have just a button saying, hey, do you want to restart the game? If it is clicked upon, it will use this method right here. So the implementation itself, you can see here, the empty board is basically just a matrix with the prop empty, and the implementation itself, as you can see here, uses the syntax from Mobx. So it has a board which will be initialized by the empty board. It will have a current player and also starts with the game status as ongoing. It will have 2 players, and it also isn't exposed in the interface. So the make a move function is pretty simple. It will receive some coordinate, and first it will check if the game is ongoing and if the cell that the player is trying to click on is empty. If so, it will render the current player prop on the cell itself. Then it will check if this move made the current player win. If so, it will set the game status as a player 1. If not, it will check if this move made a draw, and if so, it will set the current game to draw. And if none of these is true, if the player didn't win, nor did it result in a draw, it will set the next player. So the function that checks if the player won is pretty simple as well. Basically, I just return true if the current player won by row or by column or by the main diagonal or by the secondary diagonal. To check if the player won by row, it's pretty simple as well. Basically, I go through every row and see if every prop that's in there is equal to the current player prop. Similarly, I do basically the same with column. It's just a little different because trying to get a column, I just check if every prop in that column is equal to the current player prop. The same goes for the main diagonal and also the secondary diagonal. And to check for a draw, I simply flatten the board and try to find if there's any empty prop, empty tile left in the board. In the next player function, we'll simply set the current player to the opposite that it is right now. And lastly, the restart action will just set the board to empty again and the game status to ongoing. So yeah, this is version 0.1.0. It's just a base game where you can play alone. Well, I guess you can call a friend and you guys take turn playing the game, but that's the base feature of the game. I also intend to make another version 0.2.0 with logging like every player action and also persisting the store, but keep in mind that you can access this application on the web and the link will be in the description.